welcome to Occasionally Posh, where we enjoy life, laughs, and shenanigans. I am your girl, Chastity B.
And I'm Sunshine. Welcome. That was terrible. But welcome to another week of Occasionally Posh. Thanks, as always, for joining us, for following us, liking us, sharing, subscribing, telling your friends, mama, aunties, uncles, cousins, twice removed, everybody. Thanks for all of your support. We always start with a foreplay, so Chastity B, you're first.
Okay, so disclaimer. So pretend like you've never met your husband, okay? And you've never known him. Okay, so you're not married. He's not even in the picture. If you could go back in time and you're dating, would you rather date a man with kids or without kids?
You have to do that to me. With kids or without kids? Before I dated him and before I grew and all that stuff, probably with kids, because for a long time I didn't want no more. I didn't want none at all. Ethan was a surprise. Ethan, both of them was surprised. But anywho, so probably with, so I would think, even though that didn't work out in my favor, but you said before my husband, I would think that if they already had kids, they wouldn't want anymore. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was the case later, so you better make sure. Another story for another day, but with kids.
This is true. I used to think that I wanted somebody with kids because I was like, if they already got kids, they ain't gonna want no more kids. But now I kind of feel like if they don't have kids by now, typically, they probably more than likely don't want any more kids. Or don't want any kids, So I think I would rather date people without kids now.
It's funny you say that because I know some males who don't have kids and want kids still. And they're older than me.
This is true.
Probably your age or old. Well, not that you way older than me, but you know what I'm saying. They probably 37, 38, 39.
You calling me old?
Look at me like that.
Calling me old? I mean, my birthday is Friday.
I said older than me. I didn't say old. Now let's be clear. Let's clarity. Okay, I said older. But yeah, I guess it's a gift and a curse either way.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do something a little different for mine. You ready?
Okay. I don't know.
All right. Truth or dare?
Dare.
Do a freestyle rap about me and go.
I'm not good with coming up with stuff on the spot.
I know.
Sunshine over here got me feeling hot. She went and got her reduction. Now she looking like...
Never mind. We're going to the truth. She fired. We're going to the truth. I won't be able to do it either. Don't feel bad. All right, I'm gonna switch it up. We're going to the truth. What was the last lie you told someone?
The last lie I told someone. Hold on, let me think. Oh, I remember. It was this guy. He had been texting me and I just didn't feel like talking to him. And I told him that I was working a whole lot of hours and had 3 jobs. That's why I haven't called him back.
Was this after you had to quit your job and was schooling?
No, this was just the other week.
She ain't even got a job. Talking about she got 3. Okay. I guess motherhood is the first job. This one job.
Don't be judging me. All right, what's the last lie you told? Huh?
Probably that I was sick, so I didn't have to attend one of my meetings. I didn't feel like getting out of bed that day, okay?
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
And they weren't gonna do nothing but get on and talk about the same mess we talk about every week.
That could have been an email.
Right, that part.
Sick of meetings that could be an email. If we have a meeting and there's no food involved, it needs to just be an email.
Right. Well, minus the food part. But right. Store-bought food. Let's be clear. No. Oh man.
I'm not.
All right. Well, we chose to do an email. See what you did to me. We chose to do an episode about dating with kids, which is probably why Chas picked her topic. And this kind of stemmed from something that she shared from Facebook. And I should have had it pulled up, but I didn't. But it says, if a man is dating a woman with kids, is he wrong for going to her house with dinner just for two? Is he obligated to feed her kids as well? So I'm interested to know what you thought first.
I wish I had went through the comments to see what everybody else think.
Right.
So, me personally, I'm very, 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 very particular about people even knowing my doggone address. That's number one. If it's ever a time that you are here, that a guy is at my house and my kids are here, 9 times out of 10, we've already established something. And if you telling me that you're coming over to the house to bring dinner, more than likely I already done cooked for my kids and they already done ate. Had they not ate, I would say, you could pick up something for the kids on your way here. You don't have to get exactly what you're getting us, but grab them something because I haven't cooked. Me personally, before we even get to the fact that he's at my house, we've already established some things, and it's not just any random person. Now, if I was a random person, if I was somebody that just invite anybody over to my house, then personally, no, I don't feel like he's obligated to feed my kids, but morally.
So this is the thing for me. If he's coming to your house, bringing dinner, number one, coming to your house. Number 2, he's bringing dinner. Number 3, your kids are there, then you're past the initial dating in my head.
Right.
That's not first date activity.
Right.
That's we've been talking for a while. You probably already done met my kids, about to meet my kids for the first time, maybe. And you know that I have kids and you know they there. Yeah, you obligated. You accepted the fact that you dating a woman with kids. You obligated to at least ask. Let me be clear.
Right.
You obligated to be like, hey, boo, I'm bringing dinner over. Do I need to grab something for them too? Yes, because when you date somebody with kids and you're taking on that responsibility of being with somebody with kids, then you got to start thinking about more than just you and her.
Right. Exactly.
So yes, he's obligated. Point blank, you when you date somebody with kids, you get the package. You don't get just her.
Look, I'm not saying that they're obligated. I'm saying,
well, that's what the post is asking. The post is asking if they obligated. I'm saying they are.
I guess they are.
To at least ask. At least ask.
Yeah, at least ask. I would say, at least ask. But I don't think that they're obligated.
I do. And I ain't even saying just him. I'm saying both ways. If it was a woman coming to the house cooking dinner for the man,
right?
He up in there and the kids is there, she better be ready to cook for all of them. Like right. I just feel like that comes with the package. Like right. You can't be over there eating and they looking at you.
Can I have a fry? No, you can't. No.
I ain't saying that the kids gotta have steak. I ain't saying that.
Oh, you come up in here with some steak and don't bring that little biscuit of steak and see what kind of problems you're gonna have.
You might just stop by the McDonald's and get a chicken nugget meal, but you obligated to at least have the decency to make sure that they are okay.
Right.
Because you said you were dating her and you know she got kids, so you dating all of them in reality. And that's just common courtesy, period. Like, I don't date you, but if I'm coming over there and I got Jackson, I know I'm grabbing him some food. I ask you, should I get biscuit and Carter some food? Like, it's just common decency.
Yeah, this is true.
I ain't gonna have Jackson sitting there eating in front of you and they sitting there looking at him salivating. Like,
Jackson, can I have a French fry? And Jackson is not gonna share no French fry.
Therefore, he might get a little corner. About it.
He gonna look at it like they crazy. I don't know. Like I don't feel like they obligated. However, I wouldn't date anybody that doesn't feel like my kids are just as much as a priority as I am. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to.
Saying they obligated. She's trying to walk around it to get to the same result. She's trying to give me the benefit of the doubt. I feel you. I know in this world, especially in this world with women trying to be more independent and trying to have their own and trying to make, I know that we try to be lighter on people, men in particular, when it comes to these subjects. But like I said, if it was the other way around and that woman was in there cooking up something, she wouldn't be cooking just for two.
Right. This is true. And if she does, that's a female that they probably shouldn't be with. That 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to be with.
Well, that's a whole other subject for another. But yeah, that's red flag city if they're not even concerned at all.
Right. I'm just hoping that these men that y'all inviting over for dinner, that's only bringing dinner for two.
Mm-hmm.
And your kids are there. That they have at least established something. No, I don't want them to establish anything. Now that I think about it, I don't know, child. Dating is ghetto. I'm so over it.
It is. I mean, I ain't dating, but it is. Dating is definitely different than it used to be, honey. It is definitely different. But anywho, so yeah, we came across that post and just wanted to talk a little bit about dating with kids. And I kind of looked up some research on what makes dating with kids difficult for one, and then what things people should, if they don't already know, take into consideration when dating someone with kids. So the first thing that said you should take into account is the other parent. That baby mama and baby daddy drama is real. You hear me? More baby mama. Baby daddies is usually chill for the most part, unless they just still feeling you and they in their egos. For the most part. I ain't saying they don't be tripping sometime, but baby mamas, they know. I done dated a guy. I done dated a guy who woman said I couldn't be around a child at all. And we was serious.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, but I'm in his life. Like, at the time, we thought permanently, like, this is going to be, we're going to be together. And
she still wanted him.
No. Right. And then after we went through the relationship for a while, I figured out and I understood that it wasn't really her problem after so long. It was his problem. You're allowing her to have this power.
Right.
But legally, she can't stop you from having your child and having your child around me unless I do something that's harmful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Blase, but y'all don't have a court order in place. She can't tell you what to do with your kid.
Right. As long as it ain't nothing crazy or dangerous.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, what do you feel about that? Do you think you have to take in, in your experience, do you have to take into account how if you're dating a guy with kids, how the mama act, how she's going to interact with you, how she going to feel about you, she going to be whispering in the kids ear, stabbing in the fork, in the knife, with a in the neck. I can't even talk. Like, what do you think? How much do you think you have to take into account the other parent that's involved in the situation?
I don't know. So it's been tricky for me as far as the guys that I've dated that had kids. A lot of the times, like, I get, I'm very particular about who I let around my kids, and I'm very particular about going around somebody else's kids as well. Mm-hmm. So if I'm being honest, out of all the guys I've ever talked to, dated, whatever, we haven't established anything long enough for the kids to even come into play.
Okay.
The person that I did talk to the longest that had kids, and I think that we could have eventually got to that point. I think that it would have been an issue with the baby mamas. Mm-hmm. Because I think that he was playing both sides. Now that I go back and I look at it from hindsight, I think that he was he wasn't doing everything that he claimed that he was doing. He was being a boyfriend to the baby mamas, as well as being a boyfriend to me, and kind of lying to everybody and making everybody think that everybody is crazy, basically.
Yeah, that's a different situation because he obviously wasn't really over her. He was trying to
Them
lay up under
two. It
somebody.
was two of them.
Ooh, well, he just playing then. That ain't even he ain't over nobody. He just being a player at that point. But sometimes whenever I hear that you have to take them into account, it's not the fact that you shouldn't date him if she don't like you. Like, I'm not saying that.
Right.
But if baby mama or baby daddy has an issue with you, that's gonna come off through the kids.
Right.
And even though you're not dealing with her directly, you pretty much still dealing with her.
Right.
So it ain't even a fact of what she's doing. It's, can you handle it over a long period of time?
Right. And I honestly don't know, because I like kids.
She's pretty good at kids, actually. Open a daycare.
But I don't think that I would be able to deal with somebody. You know how sometimes you hear where the baby mama is like planting in the kids' heads, like, be mean to her, don't listen to her. I don't think that I could deal with that too long. And I don't think that it would be fair to the dad to even ask him to let me be able to deal with that long, if that makes sense. Like, it would be toxic, and I feel like the toxicity, whatever you say it, would draw a wedge in between the daddy and the kids.
Yeah, I can see that to an extent.
And I don't want to be that person. I need to start being selfish, though.
Yeah, I feel like if you're dealing with a real, I hate to say with a real man, but if you dealing with somebody who is responsible, who is, I ain't got nothing but a real man in my throat right now. But after
a real man in your throat. Okay, sorry.
The problem within mostly our communities is that Black men do not like to take women to court.
This is true.
I feel like that's the number one issue. I feel like if you go to court, you fight, you do your custody deal. I ain't saying take the kids, but if you got everything wrote in paper, this is when I'm going to have the kids. This is when I'm not. This is what the decisions we going to make together. This is what old girl can't say nothing about. Then it ain't really no argument.
Right.
I feel like not having that stuff established creates the avenue to have those issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like if we had more men that would just be willing to do what they supposed to do and not worry about having, they just don't like to argue, don't like to fight. They don't feel, especially our men, can only speak from my experience, they don't feel comfortable in the court system. They don't feel like the court system go in their favor. Like, it's just all these things. So they don't even try.
All right.
And actually, when I was on Clubhouse, one of the initial conversations was a room about all these men, like, and pretty much it was them making excuses of why they don't fight women. Like, they don't fight to see their kids. They don't fight to do, against the child support order. They don't fight in custody. And at the end of the day, it's all excuses if you haven't at least tried. You can't just assume that they just gonna automatically go in mom's favor. So for a lot of relationships, I feel like that's the issue, because women automatically have all the power because they let them.
This is true. And then they go around and then they are angry at all women because they didn't take the moment to fight for what needed to be fought for.
Right.
And then they mad at the baby mama and they half-ass take care of the child and all that kind of stuff. And then it leads to other things that the kids grow up and they're like, I ain't had my daddy in my life. And then we got to start the cycle all over again.
And one guy that was in that room pretty much said, I didn't know that I had an option to fight until it was too late. Like I didn't ask questions. I went to court when she took me, but I just stood there. I didn't say what's my rights. I had a public defender. They weren't worth crap. Like he just pretty much, and I respected him because he was like, I could have been a better parent, but I'll allow what I know in the streets
Right.
to mess with my head, and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And now I done missed out on 5 years of my kid's life because mama was bouncing them from state to state and I couldn't find them. And I thought she was just able to do that because I didn't have no papers. And I'm like,
Right.
no. Like
Right.
so yeah.
And I wish that it was more resources out there for men when it comes to their kids, because I ain't gonna, a lot of the times, sometimes as women, we keep our kids out of men's life because it's not a healthy situation. Outside of relationship stuff and all that kind of stuff, they're out there in the streets living life crazy. Right. Or just other things. Like it could be other things. But as long as it's like issues that are like that will harm the child or put them in harm's way, I'm kind of okay with that. But when it comes to, I just don't want him to be around the child because he got a new girlfriend. I still want him, which most of the time we would never say we still want them. But it's like every excuse in the world for them not to be a part of their child's life. And I don't think that that's fair. And I feel like that men should use the resources that's out there to fight for their kids, to at least be able to see their kids. And I think that a lot of men get child support and custody. Well, I don't know about all states. I know in North Carolina, child support and custody is two different things.
Two different things. So if you can't afford to pay a dime, she cannot stop you from seeing your kids and vice versa.
Right. And I think that a lot of men don't even realize that. They don't know that. And then you got the older generation that's teaching them, that's not teaching them. They telling them lies, feeding them lies, or feeding them what they thought was the truth. I'll say that.
Right.
I ain't gonna say lies. Feeding them what they thought was true, but they really don't know. And people, they need to get out there and educate themselves.
Right. And I said that in that room. I know we need to move on, but I was like, when it comes to women, especially women that I've been around, like we fight tooth and nail to do whatever we have to do, no matter what the line is, if we got to go to the end of the earth, we'll do whatever we have to do for our kids. Right. And it's sad that men don't have that same mentality. Well, a lot of men. I ain't gonna say all men. There are some great fathers out there.
Right.
They just don't. I don't know what. Excuse City is all I got for
right. Excuse City. The same Google that women use to come up with the bullshit reasons that they give men for not allowing them to see their kids is the same Google that the men can use to realize that they can see their kids.
Google, Bing, Yahoo, everything they out there is the same. Like she said, it's the same libraries, the same everything, same days, whatever you need got to use, it's the same.
Right. And you might don't have money for an attorney, but try to use
most of the time either.
Right. But try to use the resources that you can find, build your case.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. All right, we're gonna get off there because
now we're giving these men advice on how to get their kids.
Honey, that part. So the second area that they said that you have to take into account is sharing or having control. Meaning, if you're dating a man or a woman with kids, now when you want to go on vacation, you can't just up and go. You got to make sure it ain't on the weekend that the kids come. You got to make sure you talk about it if you're going to take the kids with the baby mama or baby daddy. You also have to discuss parenting styles. A lot of parents don't, like some parents who are step parents, don't feel comfortable whooping kids or disciplining kids. That's conversations you have to have. Being at kids' events together, little JoJo play football. Guess what? You gotta be sitting right there beside Mama JoJo, okay? And then the other area they said is different beliefs. So if they may be Jewish, you may be Christian. They want you to raise the kids Jewish. Things. That's just the examples of sharing those controls or responsibilities. So what do you think about that?
The religious thing that should be established before the kids even come into play.
Right.
Plain and simple. Even if you already got your kids, like we should talk about that before we even establish a relationship for the kids to even meet. That's number one. The so I don't know. So I'm not dating right now, and me trying to meet guys, it's been hard because I guess they're either used to meeting women that don't have kids that are able to up and go, or they're used to meeting women that just throw their kids off on other people and are able to up and go. And I'm neither. You know, like my family, they help me out so much during the work week with like helping me get my kids from school or dropping them off for me or something like that. I don't really like to use them on the weekends.
Right.
Unless I pre-planned ahead. And one of the issues that I have right now is guys, they will call like Saturday night, like, let's go to the bar. And I'm like, it's not that simple. Like,
you got to be playing partner.
always have my kids.
Right.
99.9% of the time, they are here with me. They have a daddy, but 99.9% of the time, they are here with me unless things are pre-planned. And I think that's just hard for men to grasp and understand. And it drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, that was even an issue when I was dating. Like, if I, that guys ask me on date night, especially ones without kids, they're like, "Come on, let's go out. Come on, you don't never do nothing." Like, I got my son. Well, why can't your mama keep him? Well, mama already helped me during the week when I'm working. Well, why can't he go with his daddy? Honey, he don't go with his daddy when he's supposed to. It was just a long line of things, and they just make it seem so simple. But I think that's because guys, most of the time, not in every situation, but guys, most of the time have their children the least amount of time, so they don't really get it.
Right.
They don't really get it.
They don't really, yeah. Yeah, and even some of them I've met, and I'm like, "Do you have kids?" Yeah, and I'm like, so, I mean,
you did it once a month.
Like, will you keep your kids if your baby mama called you on a random Tuesday and was like, "Hey, I'm going to happy hour"?
Right.
Probably not.
Right.
Which child.
Honey. And that was one thing, and I don't think he watched our podcast, but that was one thing that really threw me off about Ethan's dad, because Ethan's dad, even when he said he was gonna have him, he ended up not having him. Like, he would be the one to come pick him up. But the next thing you know, he at grandma's house, he at aunt house, he at cousin house, he at sister house. And they got old. I'm like, just don't take them. Like, I don't mind them keeping them. I don't mind them keeping him at all. But if you're telling me you're the one spending time with him, I expect you to be the one spending time with him.
Right.
But now I see you on social media out at the bar, and I'm trying to figure out what my daggone child is.
And then they at Aunt's house, which is fine. Like, just tell me in advance. They're going to be at Aunt Susie's house.
That's what it's going to be. I'll pick him up, but he'll be with my aunt. Whatever you got to say, at least communicate it. But I'm finding out through the grapevine that you ain't even had him the whole time. They used to just irk my daggone nerve. And one night in particular, he had went out and got sloppy drunk. And that's when we were still dating. And I called him, and he couldn't even barely walk or talk or nothing. And I'm like, "Where's my child?" I literally drove to Sanford at 2 a.m. in the morning. Got my child. His mama was like, "You ain't got to take him now." And then he didn't know he was gone until the next day when he woke up.
Next subject.
Honey. I ain't saying I ain't never got drunk with my child at the house. I'm not saying that, but trust me, I knew he was at. I knew where he was at. If I had to put a bell on the door, I'ma know.
Next subject.
All right, so balance. And balance was number 3, and it pretty much tackled mostly when you're dating, not when you're like serious or married or living together, blase. But if you're dating someone with kids, their time is most of the time going to be a little bit more limited than it is if they don't have kids, especially if they are mom and they got the kid Monday through Friday, you're only gonna see her on Saturday or Sunday. Or if they a dad and they picking up kid from baseball games, whatever the question, or if it's holiday, whatever it is.
Right.
Are you okay being second on the list. Now, people don't understand that question because they assume when you date somebody, you automatically first.
Right, but
again,
no.
if you grew up like me, the word say you ain't never first. The word say God first, spouse second,
Okay, here she goes.
third.
Here she goes, Fred Hammond now.
But I'm just saying, are you okay with being number 2 on the list?
Me?
Or just speaking in women in general?
Oh, me? I'm absolutely.
Kids, so of course. If you were single, would it be a struggle? Like
honestly,
fresh, you just met, you really feeling him, you want his undivided attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all talking real good for 3 days, but day 4 he got the keys and he can't respond as quickly.
See, that's when it's an issue. That's when it's an issue. Like, why can't you respond? Because you got the kids.
I mean, it ain't, speaking from my experience, because I am terrible when they're going to respond to messages. So
you are.
I am. So it ain't the fact that I'm like just intentionally not responding to people or I'm just not putting them first. But if I'm occupied, I'm just occupied. Like, it just happens. Like,
yeah, this is true. That is true. But then you got a lot of times where men be lying and saying they sorry, some of the men that don't lie, but this is for the ones that do lie. Okay. So they be lying, saying that they ain't with their baby mama and all this kind of stuff. Ain't nothing going on between me and shoot, blah, 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 and all that shit. And every time that they are with the child's mother, they can't respond. That's when I find it an issue. When they're around the child and the child's mother and they can't respond, they can't do nothing. That's the only time I find an issue. Other than that, I'm okay with being second. I want you to take care of your kids first.
Right. That speaks to who you are as a man.
Right.
Really.
Right.
Really. Yeah. I don't really understand the whole situation. I know there's a lot of couples out there and they are around the mom a lot, even though they're not dating. And I don't really understand it. If we ain't at graduations together, parent-teacher conferences, baseball games, why you at her house? You supposed to just be picking them up. I don't really understand that anyway, but I know that happens a lot. Never mind. Moving on.
No. And ain't absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
Me either. Damn it. I'm tired of it.
I mean, I guess guys and girls can still be friends.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that that's okay to be friends because you should be friends with somebody before y'all establish a relationship. And whenever you break up with somebody, if y'all were really truly friends, I think that you could still be friends. I'm friends with some of my exes and some of them drive me fucking nuts, but they still call me and we have conversations and we keep it moving. Cute. Sometimes they cross the line. I have to be like, get back across that line. We're just friends, but there are a few exes that I do have conversations with and they'll call me on my girlfriend at the stupid. I'm like, but what are you doing? What are you doing to make her act stupid? Because I'm pretty sure if you was doing the same shit that you was doing to me, then she got a reason to act stupid. But
straight like that. Wow. But yeah, I can pretty much talk to anybody I had dated before. I can't think of not one person that I couldn't sit down and have a conversation with. But that's just the type of person I am. Some people don't believe that. My husband is one of those. He feel like if y'all done, y'all done. He feel like just because we broke up don't mean we can't be cordial.
Right. I feel like whenever you're angry, that's because there's some feelings that are harboring. That's what I feel. I may be wrong, but that's what I feel deep down in my hearts of hearts.
All right. So number 4, when is it safe to meet the kids? So it says too early, the kids may not, or you may not be ready. Too late, you done fell in love and now you can't stand his daggone kids. So it said pretty much taking into consideration, because for some reason, when some people date, they feel like date number 3, all right, we know we like each other. When I'm gonna meet the kids, like it don't really work like that. So I don't know what you feel about, meeting the kids. I know you done said it before. How you feel about it?
I don't want it to be too early, but I also don't want it to be too late either. I don't know. I think that you kind of, I think I said it before, but I feel like whatever I said before, my feelings has probably shifted differently now that I'm older and wiser.
All right. We grow every day. We grow every day.
um, but so I don't want it to be too soon before we establish anything, but I also don't want it to be too late that we done establish something. So it has to be like somewhere in the middle, I guess. But I just don't know what that middle is. And I guess it's different for every person or every
Right.
situation.
Right.
So if I'm being honest, I honestly don't know. I don't know what is too early and what is too late.
Right. I feel like it kind of depends on how you are dating. So if you are just dating casual, having fun, living life, YOLOing it out, then I feel like it would be longer of a time to meet the kids than if you're dating with a purpose. So if you
Right.
date with a purpose, like I'm here because I'm looking for my husband, I'm here because I'm looking for my wife, then you're really getting through that nitty gritty and getting through those walls or whatever it is a little bit quicker because you're serious about it. You're finding out the information you need to know. You get, you can pretty much figure out within a month if it's somebody that's gonna be worth your time. But if
Right.
you kind of just we just doing, we living day to day, then it might be
Right.
2 or 3 months. Like, so I feel like it depends on how and why you're dating. And then it also depends on if they're ready. Just because they're saying that they're ready to meet the kids, are they really
Really ready.
ready?
Right.
And I feel like sometimes the other partner don't understand that a lot of times. Like the parents feel like, okay, if I'm telling you I'm ready for you to meet my kids, you should be ready to meet my kids. And it's
I
like,
mean, next time just at me.
oh,
Just at me.
that's funny. I just realized that after I said it. But your little situation shit. But but
The
yeah, I
shade.
feel like it comes both ways. I feel like if the person is telling you that they're not ready, then take what they're saying that they're just not ready.
Right.
So at that time, you can either be like, all right, I respect that. We'll wait a little longer. You can be like, well, are they ever going to be ready? But don't be upset with them
Oh, I
because
was
they
pissed.
not ready. She was. She was.
But in hindsight, I'm happy that it didn't happen. But
Right.
if the thing is, I wasn't trying to let him meet the kids off the basis of us being together. I just wanted to see his energy around my kids. And I
Right.
wouldn't even have introduced him as us being together. He could have
Right.
just been there. It was a big family function,
Right.
and everybody was at the house and everybody was there. There was no guarantee that my kids can't prove that you came there to see me. Like they just see
Right.
you here in this environment, and I just wanted to
Right.
see their energy. And he was like,
Which
"I
in
just don't
y'all
think."
situation, I think it was just miscommunication, really.
No, I think that he was full of shit.
Well, from her lips. I was thinking at the time that it was probably just miscommunication. Let's put it
I
that
did at
way.
the time. After I sat back and thought about it, I said miscommunication. Maybe I misworded my words, but now I think that he was full of shit, and I think that he was a good guy, quote unquote, good on paper.
Mm.
Um, that was full of shit. Start back dating thugs and drug dealers. I'm sick of trying to date
Lord
good dudes.
Jesus. I can't. Maybe he was just figuring out life.
Well,
But that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, how do you, and we've all made this mistake, including me, honey. But we're trying to date when we're not ready. Like
right,
you ain't figure out how to love yourself yet. You ain't figure out what you want exactly. You ain't figure out what you even want to do in life. You know what I'm saying? You ain't figure out what your long-term goals is, what you will put up with, what you absolutely won't put up with. Like it's so many things that you have to work on before you're dating.
right.
But I feel like a lot of us trying to do all that at the same
Same
time.
time,
And
yeah. And
then we figure out we ain't compatible in the first place once we figured the mess out.
right. I honestly think that I was guilty of that. So now I'm just trying to back, I'm not looking for anybody to date at this moment. Like I'm so over the dating scene. If somebody comes, they come. If they don't, they don't. Oh well,
Right.
who gives?
Right.
But I think that I was trying to figure myself out while trying to date. And in the midst of me trying to date and figure myself out, I was making the people that I was trying to date figure their self out as well, because I was asking them the hard questions that I was asking myself. And I think that right there scared them. But I mean, if they couldn't handle that, oh well, they gone.
Right.
Somebody will come along.
Yeah. Like I said, if you're dating with a purpose, then those things shouldn't scare you.
Right.
Now, should it be a little scary? Yes. But it shouldn't scare you, like scare you off. If you're dating with a purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So another point that was good is, what if the kids are just bad? Like,
listen,
guys good, but you meet them kids and they baby kids. We don't die, we multiply. You know what I'm saying? Like, which I guess that kind of comes into account when you meet them too, because like I said, if you meet them too late and they bad, but you already in love with the dude, now you trying to make it work.
Right.
5 years down the road, you can't take they miss no. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they just bad? Like, is that a reason not to be with someone if the kids is bad?
So I guess my question is, what is the definition of a bad child?
I guess it would depend on you as a person. What
Yeah.
might be bad for me might
not be bad. Right. So I don't want to say bad child because
misbehaved. I don't know.
I don't even want to say misbehave, because I think of times like you know, you say Jack, you be like, he bad, or he doing too much and all that kind of stuff.
You be like, oh, he fine.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's fine. You know, so I'm like, I don't know. To me, my kids drive me crazy, and I be like, they do too much, and other people be like, oh, they fine. They ain't doing too much. They're just wondering, and they asking questions, and they're doing this because they want to know how it works and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really know the definition of a bad child other than a child that's like cussing you out. But are they really bad, or are they really doing what they know?
Right. For me, it's way easier for me to deal with my kids than it is someone else's kids.
Now, this is true.
Like, you know, I be saying my kids bad, but they ain't like baby kids bad. So, but
that may be because weren't even bad. They was just they had inquisitive minds.
They took the whole city down. What you talking about? But what makes it hard as a step parent, speaking from experience, is that me and my step children mothers parent way differently. Like, I'm way harder. I'm probably a strict parent compared to a lot of parents. You know what I'm saying? I'm very like, you're not gonna disrespect me, you're not gonna talk back to me, you're not gonna get but one chance, I'm gonna crush your head, like, you gonna listen, you gonna clean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't saying my kids are perfect, they do all those things right all the time, but they know when I give them that look.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But when you get that child who's not as disciplined, I hate to use the word discipline, but not raised the same way as you raise your kids.
Right.
And then you got a baby mama who a little iffy. Like, you in my house, so I'm gonna tell you how I feel, but I still find myself filtering how I do it because I don't want to cause no drama. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You add all those layers into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. I just don't want to say bad child. I just want to say we're not raising our kids the same. Right. So how am I going to deal with the way that you raise your child versus the way that I want to raise my child? Because I feel like I am a very lax parent. I don't like for my kids to talk back to me. Have they talked back to me? Hell yeah. Yeah. And anybody that says that y'all hasn't is fucking lying.
Yeah. But I can say if my son, like, if Eden talked back to me, I'll slap him upside his mouth. Like,
Right.
but if one of my steps, like now the oldest one, you know, I raised him like my own. Like me and his mama, we cool.
Right.
But just to be real, the youngest two, like I had to double think about how I had, because I don't want to be sitting at the courthouse.
Right. Right.
So that's the part that makes it a little.
Right.
Now I deal with it just fine. We still here. We've been married almost 7 years, but for some people that might, I don't know. But for some people, they might not can't handle that. Especially if they don't have kids, especially if they're a single person dating somebody with kids.
Right. You know something? I think that I was I said that I had never met a guy and his kids, but I lied. I just thought about this guy that I had met. He had a daughter, and I met her, and we were like the best of friends. And he was like, she doing this, she doing that. You need to calm down, blah, blah, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, she's fine. We're best friends.
Right. So that goes back to that parenting style, making sure y'all can be all right, parenting wise, right?
Right. I don't think we would have been all right though, because the things that she was doing, even now, I still think was very minute to the way that he was acting. Like he was just
making a big deal out of it.
Yeah, and then I kind of go back and forth, like, are you making a big deal because you think I'm supposed to make a big deal out of it, or are you making a big deal because you really think it's a big deal?
Right.
Like, are you just trying to make it look like you're a strict parent? Because I'm not a strict parent, and I ain't gonna put on a face and act like I am a strict parent, because I'm not. For nobody. Very lax with my kids, which may be an issue with a lot of people. And I understand that now. Because so the other day, my oldest sent me this thing on TikTok, and the video was funny. It was a hilarious video. Like I was crying laughing. And then after I thought about it, I was like, why in the hell did he send me this video? Because it wasn't a tasteful video.
Oh God.
So then when I asked him about it, I was like, why are you sending me that video? And he was like, because I knew that you would laugh at it. And you always told me that if I see something inappropriate, don't tell everybody, just come and tell you and we will figure it out. And I was like, this is true.
He did what you said, okay?
And we laughed about it. We looked at the video again together. We laughed about it again. And I said, don't say this in public and don't send this to nobody else. But if anybody else had seen that video, and it wasn't nothing that was like really, really bad, I would probably say if I had to put it like TV version, it would probably be like PG-13-ish.
Oh, okay.
You know, like right before rated R, but
they see worse than that.
Right. So I was like, if anybody else had seen this, they probably would have been like, yeah, that's too much for a 9-year-old to be seeing and for y'all to be talking and laughing about. But we had a whole discussion about the video. Like we had an educational session.
Right. Yeah. I'm very like more, I try to keep my kids semi like in a little bubble, even though it's really like absolutely not feasible to do so with today's time. But like just the other day, my stepson was here and I was in here working. He usually come after I'm finished working, but I had got him earlier on Friday. And I'm on the meeting with my boss or whatever, and he watching some video in the background, and they talking about, would you smash a pass? And I'm like, I'm trying to ignore it, but then she was like, what's that in the background? And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, you think that's appropriate? He was like, it ain't like they having sex. I'm like, but why are you watching a video about people smashing a passing? And I was like, turn it off. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. But you could tell, like, at home, he must watch these videos all the time. So, yeah, I'm probably a little way more reserved than most parents. Like, if you watch that without me around, I guess I can't do nothing with it. But you sit in the room with me watching videos about smashing a passing.
Now that right there, I probably would draw the line. But we would have a discussion. We probably have a discussion about why are you smashing and why are you passing? What do you know 16, what smashing is?
Yeah, he's 16, I'm sure.
So then I want to know, well, why are you going to smash her but pass her? Because if I'm being honest, I would probably smash her and pass her. Like, I just want to know, what is your
That's too deep. I can't do it. That's too deep. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes whenever they be coming to me asking me stuff, I'm like, ugh! And then I have to think about it and then go back and we talk about it. Sometimes I'll be like, if they don't ask me about this again, we ain't gonna touch it.
Right. Another day. Okay. Another day. On the flip side of them being bad, well, you said not to say bad. That's what I got. But what if the kid takes a long time to accept you in their life? Like most kids, if you can get them within the first 7 to 10 days, just being real, as long as you say the right things. But there's some kids out there, they don't want mama date nobody. They don't want daddy date nobody. And they just gonna be hard on you no matter what you do.
Right.
So as a single person, especially a single person with no kids,
I don't remember my life without kids. It's hard to remember without kids.
I know it is, ain't it? It was so long ago. 12, 13 years ago for me. But I'm trying to put myself in a place, you know, when I didn't have kids. So
right.
Or even if you have kids, it ain't just for people who don't have kids, but how do you handle and are you okay with if the child takes 6 months to be like, all right, you all right?
I think I would be okay with it.
I think it would bother me.
As long as yeah, it's gonna bother me. Yeah, it's gonna bother me.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna say that I would stop dating whoever it is because of it, but I could see myself avoiding. Oh, you got the kids this weekend? All right, I'll see you Monday. Right. Just being honest, like just being transparent. And that's not the right way to handle it, but I could see myself if I was single me, especially no kids be right. Like, all right, I'll see you Monday.
Hanging out with the girls this weekend.
Right. Well, Jerome at? Oh, he got the kids this weekend. Like,
and then the friends be like, oh. Yeah.
But I think the thing to know is sometimes it ain't you. It's just the situation.
Right.
Yeah. But it's hard to know that in the moment.
Okay.
No, I was just saying it's hard to know that in the moment, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because sometimes it really ain't you. It's just the situation. They just always know mama and daddy to be together. Right. They don't know how to handle this.
They either used to mama and daddy be together, or they just don't want mommy or daddy all to themselves, or they might got mommy whispering in their ear, don't like they heifer. Or right. You like her more than me. Or you like him more than me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be any of it.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that whenever my baby daddy meet the woman of his dreams, the girlfriend is probably gonna be liked more than me if he does it right, because she's probably gonna be able to do more things with them or have them more energy, because she's gonna already been able to work herself up. Like, right. Hey, the kids are coming over this weekend. Right. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. All that kind of stuff.
She ain't got them 90% of the time.
Right. And guess who ain't gonna care? I'm not gonna care. Whenever they come here and be like, we like Miss Trisha better than we like you. And I'm be like, that's fine. Do y'all what do y'all want to eat tonight?
No, I tell my people, don't tell me that. Say
it doesn't bother
like
me.
Her, period. I like her. You ain't gotta say more to me. Then now you being disrespectful. Now you being disrespectful. I talk to Ethan like this all the time. Well, Ethan ain't never told her he like me somebody more than me, but Ethan will get disrespectful. Okay. He is a little skinnier than you. Get on my nerve. But Ethan do make sure he let me know that he loved me more than anybody else anywhere. He do that. So.
It be your own damn kids. They get on my nerves.
Honey, he will try me in a minute. Ooh, I'm tired. Well, if you exercised. Get on my nerves. Oh man. All right. So one of the things that it said, and I didn't even think about until I read it, and I think it's probably true. But it says if you're in a relationship, if you compare stepmoms and stepdads, stepmoms are usually treated worse. Meaning, if a woman is coming into your kid's life and people from the outside in looking in, most likely the baby mama, you're either you're being too involved or not involved enough.
As the stepmama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, or you're trying to be mama, you trying to replace, or you want them to do this, you know what I'm saying, or do that, or blah blah blah. And stepdad is just like, oh, that's cool. He good. I can't believe he a good dude for being in their life. He dating his kids. Do you think that's true?
I think that's true. However, I think that it comes from a different, how can I say this? Okay, so from the outside looking in, I think that that's true. Like us saying, oh, that's a good man, blah, blah, blah. However, I think that men usually don't try to push their kids on women, and women try to push their kids on men.
True.
And I think that right there is where it comes, where the differences come in.
Right. Initially, I was like, that might be right. But then after I analyzed it in my head a little bit more, I just feel like that's just men and women in general. I feel like men get praised way more for things that they do than women do.
No, this is
do
true.
it every day. Like, oh, you took JoJo to the baseball game on Saturday. Oh, you a good father. But mama done had them the other 6 days of the week. Right. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, I don't think it's done intentionally for a lot of folks, but I feel like a lot of times mom are just overlooked because they're mom.
Right. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. No, that's what we supposed to do. Both of us made it.
We as a unit. We as a unit supposed to do this.
Right. I think that's just society as a whole. Even when it comes to being a wife and a husband, I feel like personally there's no such thing as gender roles, but a lot of people look at me weird when I say that. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't want to take the trash out more the yard, but if I had to do it, I'd do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if it take me more in the yard to get you to wash these dishes, we can get it done, okay? Right. Like, but as a society, most of the time you think of the women being with the kids, you think of the women cooking and food and cleaning the dishes and cleaning the house and blase. And a lot of marriages or families are doing that, but women are also working a full-time job. So y'all got these old school mentalities when it comes to women's roles and men's roles, but back in the day, women didn't work. So I need you to be either or. either you want me to pay half these bills and we do half these chores, or I can stay at the house and I'll make sure the house clean. Okay, even if I'm right. It's either one or the other. You get back. I can't do.
I cannot do all of them. So I got this. Do you got any more points?
I do, but go ahead. Go ahead. We good.
No. Well, okay. So I kind of want to. All right. So I saw this today, and we might can save it for next week, but I want to kind of put it out there, just so it's out there that I saw interesting, because you was talking about, gender roles and all that kind of stuff, and blah, blah, blah. So I thought this was interesting. It said, what went wrong with marriage in this generation? Men don't trust women, and women feel like they don't even need men anymore. What the fuck was the spark to all of this? Okay, it was a whole lot of responses that I saw on this thing, but this one right here stood out to me, and I thought this was very interesting. Men have to now get women to like them, and a lot of men aren't likable.
Ooh, say that again. Hold on, let me get ready. Okay.
Men have to now get women to like them, and a lot of men aren't likable. Ain't that a word?
I think it goes both ways, though.
Yeah, it does.
It does, but I agree.
However,
yes, I agree.
Yes, it goes both ways, because women also have to
into that thing I said earlier.
Oh,
Don't they kind of tie together just a little bit? Just a little bit. Let me read it verbatim. Let me read it verbatim. I'm sure it was supposed to be funny, but it's so true. God, it's so true. And it goes both ways. But what did it say? Hold on. Of course, my internet moving slow. Oh yeah, but it says you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Right.
And it was quoted by a man or men with no house. It's so true. Like, we try to put our desires or what we want on people when we can't offer that ourselves. Like, I don't understand it.
Right.
Like, if you put men in women's shoes for a week, they would not make it.
Right. And vice versa. Yeah. For some of the things that most men do, men, not boys, men.
Right.
Not boys. We probably wouldn't last.
Right. But I want to say that for next week when the guys are here. So we're not going to go into detail. But that was good. Make sure you put it down for next week.
I will. I got it. I got you.
It was good. So one of the other points that was made, and we almost done, is that when you're initially dating someone with kids, you have to censor yourself. So I think this falls under when people are single, like single with no kids. So you can't be in Jerome's house and the kids in there and you having sex in the living room couch. Not initially. Now, if you married or you live there, you know the sound. Okay, they ain't here. Come on. Okay.
What if the kids are sleep napping?
Well, I'm talking about initially dating. I'm not talking about, because at that point, unless you just talking about sneaking somebody in and they ain't met the kids, which but it's just more than that. I'm just using that as an example, but I'm talking about you're around the kids, you can't show as much public affection, or if you might be around somebody else's kids, you can't be in there just letting cuss words fly out, or you can't be out there with your twerking dress on. Like, it's just certain things that you can't do that you might be used to doing if you're somebody with no kids and you're dating somebody with kids.
So I agree, but I also disagree. So the reason why I disagree is because I would rather you be your whole self initially than for you to put on a mask and then we fall in love and then you take your mask off and you wearing your hoish clothes and you throwing out the cuss words and you're doing all this. You're doing everything that I probably wouldn't necessarily approve of had I known that you did that before.
I guess I can see it from that point of view. Me personally, I don't do, like, how I talk around you is not how I talk around my kids anyway. So I feel like you have to know which you to be at the time.
But yeah,
and a lot of kids pick up stuff, like, especially if you're a woman, you're dating a man with a daughter. Do you really want her to meet you and she see you in your hoochie mama dress and your booty hanging out the first time she see you?
Maybe not the first time, but eventually. I feel like, so I am going to say, maybe not the first time. She's probably not going to see me in my hoochie mama dress with my ass hanging out, which I probably, never mind. I was going to say I probably ain't got one, but I'm lying. But eventually she's going to see it. And I would rather him know that I'm okay with wearing this around your daughter. And if that's going to be an issue, then that's something that we need to address now. Because if this is a dress or if this is what I like to wear all the time, or whenever I'm going out, if I like to wear fitted dresses or booty shorts or whatever, if I like to wear it, I need to know if it's going to be an issue with me wearing it around your daughter. Because if it is an issue and I'm hiding it right now, eventually I'm going to wear it around your daughter and it's going to be an issue then.
I understand it from that point of view. I just feel like And I don't live with you, so maybe I don't get it, but I've never seen you just be inappropriate for no reason. Now, if
Right.
you getting dressed to go out somewhere, then that's different. But I'm talking about
Yeah.
just every day laying
Oh
around the
no.
house. I don't see you laying on the couch with your booty out.
I mean,
And that's what
yeah.
I'm talking about. Like, you know, you're coming there to meet the kids. You don't have to
Oh
be in
yeah.
club dress.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if we stand in the house, then no, I'm probably not
Right.
gonna
Now, I
wear.
ain't talking about you just swinging through and y'all going somewhere and then you meeting you and I ain't talking about that. But I'm talking
Okay.
about like
Okay.
just being at there, y'all with family at the house.
Okay.
You ain't gonna be sitting in your lingerie on his lap kissing him. Like
I mean,
and that's
maybe not
what you
lingerie.
want. And maybe you've been a parent, you don't realize that, but there's things that we don't like when we dated without kids that we did that we just don't do when we have
Don't do
kids.
that. Yeah. Because I had a lot more lingerie stuff before I had kids, and I realized that I don't have lingerie. Like
Right.
I went out and brought some lingerie stuff just in case.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's the point of view I came from. Like I like walking around the house butt tail naked, but I know I got to make sure Ethan ain't here. You know, just simple things like that. Like, yeah, all I was saying is that I guess if you're single and you're dating a man, even if you're not, if you're somebody with kids, but anyway, you got to realize that there's a time and a place for everything. And are you going to be okay with it? And are you not?
Right.
Something
now that I do agree.
Something that we on.
I agree. Just to know that these hoochie mama dresses is gonna come out.
Right.
But I also know how to dress classy if I have to dress classy.
Right. And then there's 3 more points. I'm gonna run through them, but the one is you will have to hear about the other parent a lot. So Chad might say, well, my mama do it like this, or my mama does this, or my mama blase. I
don't care what your mama do. I said do it like this.
Oh, my dad. That was a good point. Another point is sex life is a little bit different when you have kids. So you might have to be a little quieter than you would be. Or you might have to, make sure doors is locked. Or you might have to wait till the kids are asleep. So that's something that's...
I feel like I don't understand why that would be different because you're dating somebody that's not their parent versus you dating the parents.
I think that was just point of view of dating somebody with kids, period.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going over old boy house and he got his kids,
right? Okay, all right.
You can't be out there looking like one of them sex movies, swinging from the living room chandelier. Okay. Right. And that's even for like mothers. I kind of want to speak from a woman's point of view, but that's even for like us mothers if we're dating somebody with kids. Sometimes I feel like we date people without kids because that's an escape from kids. You know what I'm saying? Like if I gotta leave my house to be sensitive around kids, just to go to your house to be sensitive around kids.
Right. This is true. That is true though.
Right. And then the last point was, and this is very important, if you're dating someone without kids, but you have kids, is the person wanting more kids and are you okay with them wanting more kids?
Nope.
Yeah. I feel like people know that answer even before they start dating folks, and they need to find that out like date number 1.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, that's something that I make very, very, very clear early on. Like, do you want a first or second date? Second date at the latest. I'm letting you know I do not want any more kids. And if they say they want more kids, then I go ahead and bow on out because I don't want any more.
Of the rope. Right. Do you know how many of my friends have known that someone doesn't want kids, but they try to ignore it? And I'm like, why? You feel like just because you like them in the moment that you're gonna be okay with the rest of your life not having more kids?
Right.
Like that's not reasonable.
Right.
Like they
yeah.
dick game can't be that good, okay?
Right.
Like,
You know, this guy that I was talking to, I think that that was something like I made it clear. I think our first conversation on the phone was that I didn't want any more kids because I'm very adamant about that I don't want any more kids. And probably the only way that I will have another child, I'm not saying that having another child is completely off the table, but the only way that I would have another child is if you come into the situation. I am 100% happy. We are 100% going to be together in my mind at the moment.
Right.
And you're financially stable enough that I can take off the whole 9 months that I'm pregnant and a year. Yes,
The whole 9 months.
The whole 9 months that
she
I am
having
pregnant.
no more kids now. I'm just playing.
But that's my stipulations. So I know that that's a stipulation that a lot of men is not even going to want to do. They're not even going to want to say, yes, you could take the whole 9 months off plus a whole other year after you have the child. No, they're not going to do that. So they're going to be like, you know what? Let me move on. And I'm fine with that. I am 100% fine with that. But I think that was an issue for the guy that I was talking to. Even though initially he said that he didn't want any more kids, I think that deep down inside he wanted more kids. But I think, but I think that he wanted to like me because of who I was. But I think that the kids thing was an issue, and I never backed down from the fact that I didn't want to have kids, and I'm not going to back down from it.
And you shouldn't. Just like he shouldn't back down from the fact that he wants more kids. Like,
right.
We got to stop thinking in the moment.
Right.
We have to. Like,
right.
I know it's good. I know it's new and you got butterflies and but we got to stop. Like, we wasting each other's time. Like, y'all wasted each other's time if he wanted more kids than you did. Like, what was the point? Now you got emotions involved. People get hurt, and for what?
Exactly. So, I mean, just if it's something that you know that you really want, if kids is something that you really want, I feel like kids is something that is very important, that people should discuss early on in relationships. Yes. And if you really, honestly, truly don't want kids, that needs to be a discussion, and you need to know that the other person doesn't want kids. And then y'all also need to do everything possible under the sun to ensure that you do not make kids, because as men, even though I'm a woman, this is a whole other subject, but I'm gonna touch on a little bit. It's not fair for men to not want a child and a woman to want a child, and the woman gets pregnant and the woman keeps the child. And the man
not there, or their man resenting her.
Right. So it's not fair. It's deeper than just that broad statement that I just made. And I don't know how to touch that situation without it being even intellectual enough for me to touch it. But it's something that I don't 100% agree on or understand. But it's nothing that I can do about it, because women carry babies. And we're the ones that go through the whole change and all that kind of stuff. So
that comes all down to, and this been happened way before me and you was even thought of, but men putting too much responsibility on the woman supposed to be taking birth control.
A vasectomy is reversible. Get a fucking vasectomy.
I hear the nerve, y'all. I hear the nerve. But it does. It really comes down to that. Like, especially if you hear about a lot of stories, or you see a lot of movies, which I know movies are not real, but a lot of the scenarios, they happen. Real. And like, just be real. And it's like, you supposed to be on birth control. Well, I forgot to take the pill. Well, get an abortion. Like, that may be true to an extent, but anytime you lay in the bed with somebody, it's a possibility. Like, there's women that's been out there who take their birth control faithfully, and that one little semen just got through. Like, it happens. So
I know somebody that got pregnant 3 times, and they wasn't even on the pills. On the pill, they had Nexaplanon, they had IUD, and they was on the shot.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, let's be real. Like, anytime you have sex with someone, it's a gamble, and it can happen. So just take responsibility of it. We try not to do it. It
A
happens.
vasectomy is reversible.
You know, a lot of men got a problem with a vasectomy, okay?
It's reversible. But how can you this right here gonna be a whole nother episode. We ain't even gonna touch on it because I'm about to.
We not gonna do it. But you know, a lot of men have an issue with it. And even with my husband, we had a really, like, I had to get my doctors to talk him into it. You know, just men just really sensitive about their private parts. And that's understandable, but women go through a lot more than y'all do. Like, y'all literally can go in there a little slit, click, you at home with ice on your nuts. Like, it ain't that easy for women. And that's what my doctor had to explain to my husband. And then we was finally able to come to the agreement that if I had a C-section, I would get my tubes tied. If I didn't, he would get a vasectomy. But it took a lot of coaching, okay? And I'm not even sure that he was 100% on it. But he said he was. I'm not even. I think he prayed for that daggone C-section, okay?
He did. He did. Listen, vasectomies are so easy. Like, I went on YouTube and I learned how to do it. And
I'm bye. I'm dead. I thought she was about to say so serious. I ain't so dead. She do not know how to do it. Let's just be clear. She been clipped everything in there, vessels, veins, everything.
I just need somebody to
you
practice.
Come out of there, you just castrate, period. Like,
I'll be over there, I'm like, let me go get some shots first. I go take my shots and then I come back. I'm like, all right.
Gin on your nuts and stuff. This is gonna sanitize it. Anywho, but yeah, that's a whole nother subject for another day. But I think we have talked enough, Chaz. What about you?
I think so too. So if anybody out there want me to practice a vasectomy on you, just let me know. Hit us up at the
Don't do it. Don't. I am done. All right, guys.
I got y'all.
And she don't. And she don't have insurance. But anyway, thanks guys so much for tuning in. I know last week I said we were gonna have a guest on this week, but I had my weeks mixed up. Charge it to my head and not my heart. You know what? Chassie was right there in the with me, so don't let her do it. But they will be on next week, and we will be live on Facebook. So make sure you go follow. Don't come for me. So make sure you go follow us on Facebook. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please leave comments for us on Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and tell your friends about us. And if you you have an interesting topic, hobby, good knowledge of any kind of information, we would love to have a guest on our podcast. If you are that person, you can message us on Facebook, Instagram, or you can email us at occasionallyposh@gmail.com.
Or if you need a vasectomy.
No, I'm not. We're not. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week. Bye-bye. I'm done. Bye.